Hey, is this thing on? Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is a super chill day at home, and you guys are gonna come along with me as I meal prep for the week. Meal prepping is so helpful because it's definitely great for the budget. It saves money, so you're not like ordering food out or door dashing regularly. It's also really good to help if you want to eat a little bit more healthier because you're really focused on just purchasing items that you can use for healthy meals. And it makes my life a lot easier because I can come in here, grab it, pop it in the microwave, or if you're going on the go, you can pop it in your lunch kit and it's easy to take with you. So I am excited to share how I do a very simple meal prep with you all today, but it's also very, very good and delicious. I like to do 3 days at a time, kind of because I'm just sick of eating the same thing by the third day, but also I want the food to be as fresh as possible, and I feel like 3 days is kind of the max for me. So we're gonna start off with the things that take a little bit longer. I'm gonna be doing some chicken in a nice marinade, and I wanna make sure that has time to get all absorbed, so I'm gonna start with the chicken first. Then after that, I'm gonna move into the roasted potatoes because those are gonna take a while to cook in the oven, and then I'll finish it up with the broccoli. And I'm also gonna be meal prepping some snacks and treats as well, so I'll show you guys how I prepare all those things for the week. All right, so to start with, I make a list here on my phone for what I wanna have in my meal prep, and I include everything with my snacks, my treats, and the full meal as well, so that it all comes together, and I make sure that when I order my groceries, I have everything that I need. So I've already washed my chicken, and I just stored it in this plastic bag. So now I'm going to take it out and cut the chicken into chunks. But I'm gonna save this bag because that's also the bag that I'm gonna put it back in to finish the marinating process. So I like to use kitchen shears instead of a knife. I just think that it's so much faster. And I kind of just cut down into a strip. And then from there, I'll cut the chunks. All right, so now that I have my chicken cut up, I am going to season it. I like to use this garlic and onion seasoning, and then I also use some seasoned salt. And that is all that I'm gonna put on the chicken. I don't really measure, just kind of eyeball it and see what looks good. All right, now for the marinade, I am going to make my own. You can use a store-bought marinade, but I feel like this is less sodium, and you probably have most of these things on hand in your home, so it's not super difficult to make it on your own. So starting off, I'm going to use some olive oil and just pour that into the bag. And I'm going to add some lemon juice, a little bit of minced garlic, and a little bit of Dijon mustard, and really just a little bit of this because it has like a spicy kick, and I don't want too much spice on this chicken. I'm gonna add in the garlic and herb seasoning. And then we're doing quick, so we don't have to cut everything up. This is the Maripo mix. It's not every store, but if you have a Kroger where you live, this is just their like recipe beginning, and it's a Cajun style blend of like onions, bell peppers, and celery as well. So I'm gonna add some of that into the bag, just to make it a little bit more runny. Just make sure that all the chicken is fully covered in the marinade. All right, and clean as you go. So I'm gonna go ahead and put everything up so I don't have to worry about cleaning up after the fact, and get ready to do the next set. I use the yellow potatoes. They're like the butter golden ones. And I'm just gonna cut these into chunks. and then we'll rinse them, season them, and get them in the oven. So I just rinsed the potatoes and I put them in this pan. This is the stone cookware from the Pampered Chef. Now I'm gonna go in with some cooking spray. I like to use this canola oil and give them a good spray. And then add my seasonings. I'm using parsley, seasoned salt, garlic powder, so much garlic powder, and black pepper. Give it a good mix. So this is what it looks like. Now I'm just gonna do a couple of chunks of spreadable butter, just anywhere in the pan. I'm going to cover this with foil and put it in the oven. Now while the potatoes cook and the chicken still marinades, I'm going to go ahead and make the broccoli. Again, use some spreadable butter. I like butter, so I use a good bit. And then I'm using the frozen broccoli florets. I'm going to keep it super simple with seasoning. Just going to use some black pepper and some garlic salt. I want this to cook down a bit, so I'm just going to add some chicken broth to get it nice and soft. Chicken broth is better than water because it gives you more flavor, and I'm going to cover it. These pots and pans, this set is my favorite that I've ever cooked with. This is the Drew Barrymore brand from Walmart, and it is so good. It doesn't have those toxic chemicals in it, which can be terrible for when you're cooking, but also, like, look how cute this is. The gold handle, the aesthetic is really great, and it cooks everything very nicely, and it's so easy to clean. So now that the broccoli is done, I am just going to set it aside in this bowl. All right, so we're gonna move over to the breakfast side. We're gonna be using potatoes again, except this time I'm gonna use the food processor to break them up because we're gonna make a simple casserole that's easy to grab and eat for a few days. Okay, so here's the pan that everything's gonna go in. Again, I'm gonna use that canola oil spray. Spray the bottom of the pan, and it's gonna be super easy to just mix everything up in there. Now for the food processor, I'm gonna add in a few potatoes at a time. So now that the hash browns are in the pan, it is pretty much just a dump of all of the other ingredients. Literally just crack them straight onto the potatoes. So here's where we're at so far. I am going to sprinkle some Himalayan pink salt onto the mixture and some pepper. We'll dump in some bacon bits and some shredded Gouda cheese. So here it is, all mixed up. I'm gonna put this in the oven and go ahead and get started on the chicken. Now for the chicken, I've got a little bit of spreadable butter in there. And I'm just gonna go ahead and dump the full bag with all of the juices and everything into the pan. So now while the chicken cooks, I am going to make a few little snack and treat jars. I had already used some of these a couple of days ago. So my strawberries and my purple grapes are already in glass containers, and then I just grabbed these green ones today. So I'm just gonna take some mason jars. I'm gonna do 4 of them, and I'm gonna just fill them up with fruit. This is gonna keep it fresh longer, and it's gonna make it super easy for me to grab throughout the week. And I just top them off. I like to use these white lids, yes, because it's more aesthetic, but also I don't like when the metal lids become rusty, so this just seems a lot more sanitary, and now I've got easy grab and go fruit for the day. Before I prep my veggies, just gonna check in on the chicken. It's steamy. Looks like it's almost done, so I'm gonna just turn it down and just let it finish up. So now I'm gonna make my veggie little jars. I've got cucumbers, petite carrots, and celery. I'm gonna cut everything up and put them in the jars so they'll be easy to grab as well for the week. Now those are both nicely in the fridge, easy to grab on a daily basis, and I'm gonna go and finish up meal prepping everything else. The chicken and the potatoes are ready. Okay, so here's a look at how everything turned out. There's the potatoes, the chicken, and that's the breakfast casserole as well. I told you I'll trust the process. The casserole is gonna look pretty eventually. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill up my meal prep containers. All right, so that's that. I am fully meal prepped for the next 3 days. Also, I'm currently doing WW, formerly known as Weight Watchers. So this has been really helpful with the point system. For my plan, the broccoli, well, all vegetables are 0 points, and potatoes are also 0 points, and chicken breasts are 0 points. So the only thing that will count for points in this meal is the butter, but of course, you'll know I need the butter to make everything taste good, so it's definitely worth it. Like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Affirmations with Amber.